Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is wonderful to have you here with me today. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Samantha and I am the knitter and knitwear designer behind the account The Strikkechick. So this is a little bit of a roundup video. I am currently about 35 and a half weeks pregnant. And ever since I found out that I was pregnant, I have been doing a lot of knitting for baby. So I have a lot of baby knits that I haven't really shared with you guys on podcast episodes. Some of them I have, some of them I haven't. And that's just because I've had a bit of a rough pregnancy. So it's been a bit hard to film podcast episodes as regularly as I would like, but I have been doing a lot of knitting. So there's been a lot of knits, but I haven't necessarily showed you guys all of them. And I figured maybe a good way to just, I don't know, I guess show off what I've been making is to do an everything that I've knit for baby type of video. So that's what I am doing today. I'm not wearing anything that I have knit today because honestly, not a lot of it fits me anymore, and it is summer now. It's a little bit of a colder summer day, but even still, with the pregnancy, I get so warm, so it's hard to wear wool. I don't know. I find it way too warm at this point in time. So this is not knitwear. This is just a store-bought sweater. But everything that I show you for baby, I have hand knit. And I have my computer here with me because I have a little list of everything that I've knit for baby and the yarn and the size and all of that good stuff. I also have I don't know if you can call it a Ravelry bundle. Is that what it is? Like a group on Ravelry where, like a group of projects that are specifically my baby knits. So I will link that as well if you're interested in going in there and checking out any of the project notes in more detail. But yeah, I'm just going to share with you everything that I have finished for baby. I'll also just talk a little bit about my works in progress for baby, and also what I want to knit more of, maybe. And obviously, I'm a first-time mom. I don't really. The only information that I have about what babies will use and what they will not use comes from other knitting podcasters, really. But I have yet to see for myself what is most useful in her wardrobe. So obviously, what I want to knit for her will be. I'm having a baby girl, just in case I keep saying her. But yeah, what I want to knit for her might change depending on what I use more or less of. But yeah, for now, I'll just tell you my initial thoughts on what I would like to knit more of for baby. But we're going to start off with what I have already knit for her. And I have these kind of full bags of baby clothes and baby stuff to share with you. But the first thing that I have knit, actually the first thing I cast on when I found out that I was pregnant, was the Selma Sleepsuit in Drops Air in the shade Clay. This is yarn that I had left over in my stash from when I knit my my Tuscan sweater, which is one of my own designs. I ordered a lot of yarn. I usually order a lot of yarn when I am designing knitwear. So I usually have quite a bit left over. It's not a sweater's quantity typically, but this ended up being quite a bit. I think I had like 3 skeins and some change left over. So I figured it was a good choice for the Selma Sleepsuit. It's kind of like, I don't know how well this color is picking up, but it's a very kind of earth, I mean, it's called clay. It's like an earthy pink. It's a more brownish pink tone. So I thought it could be okay for a little boy as well as a little girl if I ended up having a little boy. So yeah, in hindsight, I don't know, maybe I was just really manifesting the girl, because it is pink. But yeah, this is the Selma Sleepsuit in Drops Air. It is knit on 4mm needles in the pattern, and that's what I met gauge widths. That's what I used. I have knit the 3 to 6 month size, which is just perfect because she is a July baby. So when she is 3 months old, it'll be like late October, which is when it starts to get really cold up in northern Norway. So I wanted her to have something that was a little warm that she could put underneath her wind tight layer that we've bought for her. And I was a little worried about the fibers on the Drops Air, because it is kind of a sheddy yarn. There are these like loose fibers around, but at about at 3 to 6 months, I think from what I've heard, she should have developed enough nose hairs kind of that help filter out the fibers. So it's not like I've made this as a newborn size. I think this was the 2nd size in the pattern. And I just think it's really, really cute. This is a pattern that's knit. I mean, I think pretty much every single knitting podcaster that I have seen who is expecting a baby or who has a baby, they have knit the sleepsuit for their kid. And I think that is just standard. Everyone knits the Selma Sleepsuit. And I really enjoyed it. I think it was a very, very big project to start out with, because it's like a sweater will knit up so quickly for a baby. But the sleepsuit took so long because you start out, you're basically knitting like a balaclava, and then you knit a sweater, and then you knit pants, all in one outfit. So it does take a while to knit, but oh my gosh, is it cute. Like, look at these little, and then they've got little flaps for her little hands and feet so they can fold back, and she can have her hands out, or they can fold back in, and they can be little gloves for her. So I think this is going to be very functional and very useful, especially because it'll be so cold up here in the Arctic. And then I bought these adorable little hedgehog buttons. I hope you can see that. I'm in a bit of a different filming location today. Usually I film sitting on my floor. I have like a cushion under me, and I film on my floor, and I have like a pile of knits beside me. I'm just way too pregnant to do that right now, you guys. So I am in my armchair. So I really, really hope that everything is picking up. I'll put pictures in here just so, if it doesn't show up as well as I want it to, you can still see pictures of what I'm talking about. But I have these adorable little hedgehog buttons that I've used on the sleepsuit. And I just think that is so precious, and I can't wait to put this on her. So that was the first thing that I made for baby. And the next thing that I made for her was, let's see if I have it in here. I did gather everything up. Carl's cardigan. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the Selma Sleepsuit is by Petite Knit, and the Carl's cardigan is also by Petite Knit. I chose Petite Knit's patterns for a lot of my first baby knits because I think that a lot of them are very gender neutral. And obviously I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl. And then also because she has so many children and so many people have knit her children's patterns, I really trust her when it comes to grading for children's sizes, because I know nothing about how things will fit at different ages. So I wanted to go with someone that I kind of, a reliable designer for baby knits, and I think Petite Knit really fit that bill. So my Carl's cardigan by Petite Knit is knit in Drops Soft Tweed. Let's see if I can get the colorway here. In the shade, I called it beige, but I think it's like Drops Soft Tweed has a bunch of names that are like related to desserts and stuff. I think this is like cookies and cream or something. But it is left over from when I knit the Innis skirt by Knits from Oslo. So I had actually just enough Drop Soft Tweed left to make this cardigan. It was like the perfect amount. I basically ran out as soon as I cast off. So yeah, this was a great little, I think baby knits are such good stash busting projects because this really allowed me to just finish up what was left in my stash. This is knit in the, what is this, the 3 to 6 month size. Again, when it starts getting a bit colder, and I think that she will get more use out of knitwear, I think this is super duper cute. It's knit from the bottom up, and then you do raglan decreases, basically. Is it? Yeah. It is. So you knit the body up until the raglans, and then you knit the sleeves up until the raglans, and you join everything together, and then you knit raglan decreases on the whole thing, and then you knit a tiny little neckband. And it was just, oh my gosh, this was the first time I had knit these little baby sleeves. And they work up so fast, you guys. They're so tiny and cute. Yeah, I think they are just adorable. And I think this is a really, really nice soft yarn. Drop Soft Tweed is also, Drops Air has some alpaca in it, which is where I think the fiber comes from, like the loose fibers. And then Drop Soft Tweed, I think, also has some alpaca in it, so it's also a little bit of a fibery yarn, but again, this is the 3 to 6 month size, so I don't think it is like the worst thing if there are a little bit of loose fibers around, because she should be old enough at that point that that's okay to a certain degree. I still wouldn't put her in like chunky mohair or anything, but I think this is all right. And the important thing to me is that all these baby knits are very soft, because, I mean, a lot of them won't be going directly on her skin, but in case they do, I really wanted them to be soft and baby friendly. This is the same texture, like it's a smock stitch, I think is what it's called, but it's the same texture as like the Jenny jacket and the Jenny sweater from Petite Knit. So this was also a fun way to learn a new texture in like a smaller sized baby garment. And that was really fun to do. I did mess up a little bit. I can't see where. I think it's over here. I messed up a little bit, but you can't really tell that much. I don't know. I think it looks good. The back looks good. And then I also chose some cute buttons for this. I got these little bunny buttons that I put down the front. And I think this would be just super duper cute over a long sleeve onesie maybe, or over one of her dresses that she has. Yeah, so this is going to be, and I heard that cardigans especially are really useful for babies. Because they're so easy to take off and put on. You don't have to like lift it over their heads. And I know that's not like much of a thing to worry about when she can kind of support her own head, which I think she should be mostly able to do at 3 months. Again, I don't really know as much as I would like to know yet on baby development, but I especially, like, if I were making something that was newborn sized, I wouldn't make a sweater, I would make a cardigan, because that you definitely do not want to lift over their head. But this is nice and easy to get on and take off, I say, as I don't know how wriggly she's going to be. But yeah, this is the Carl's cardigan. And the next thing that I knit was also a petite knit pattern. This is the Melange sweater baby. So it's knit with 2 strands of fingering weight yarn held together. And I used Drops alpaca for this. So it's a 100% alpaca yarn, but it is in the size 6 to 12 months. So it's a bit bigger. And so the main criteria here was that I wanted it to be really soft. And this is still before I knew I was having a girl. So I was trying to make a lot of gender neutral clothes, which is why there's a lot of brown. I know that like other colors are okay too. I don't know, I had a lot of brown in my leftover stash. So this is another petite knit pattern. It's knit from the top down. And this is a drop shoulder construction sweater. I had a lot of fun. I used the shades, I think it's called like light nougat, and then just brown. So light nougat is like this light brown, and then brown is the kind of darker brown that you see in here. Yeah. But I had a lot of fun knitting this. It just, I don't know, I think it's super duper cute. It's just a standard, like it'll go so well over pants and tights and all kinds of things, because it's so neutral. I did want to, like, I've started embroidering on knits, so I wanted to put some embroidery on here. Kevin is especially partial to like some cute little toadstools or mushrooms or something. I found a little unicorn that I might put on here. I've just downloaded some free embroidery patterns from DMC to start out, because I am just learning. So the big thing for me is learning the different embroidery stitches and then choosing something that I think is kind of my level that I can do. So this isn't kind of like finished yet, because I do want to put some accents and details on it, but the knitting is finished. And I think this is going to be super soft and really nice. I actually, like, I usually do not like doing Italian/tubular bind off, but I didn't quite mind so much with these baby knits because they're so small, right? So like this much bind off, that's fine by me. I don't quite mind. But yeah, this is a slightly bigger sweater that will be waiting for her when she is ready. But yeah, Melange sweater baby by Petite Knit. Okay. I don't know why my computer keeps locking. It's so strange. Okay, the next knit is kind of, I don't know if you've been able to see this guy, but this is one that I am particularly fond of. This is Harry the Puppy by Sardines for Tea, who just makes the most adorable stuffed animal patterns and kits on Etsy. And I saw that Bethany of Well Loved Knits made one of these for her son, for her older son. I think she's expecting another baby this month or something, actually. And she had made one of these inspired by Carly's Handmade, or Carson of Carly's Handmade. And I just fell in love. I thought it was the most adorable little plushy pattern I had ever seen. And I had to make one. The 3 things that I really wanted to have ready before baby got here, and I have managed to do that, is I wanted a coming home set for baby that was hand knit. I wanted a like a receiving blanket kind of thing that was hand knit, and I also wanted to have a little plushie that I can basically what I want to do is I want to do the like stereotypical, like you take the month pictures, right? So it's like 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, which is more for the parents, honestly, than for the baby. Just like we made it through another month. But I wanted a little plushie to be her buddy in the pictures with her. And this is Harry the puppy, and he's going to be her little plushie buddy. Harry the puppy is knit in Infinity Yarn Crocus, which is yarn that I bought from Rito Hobby. I think they're like a European yarn seller. They sell a whole variety of different yarn brands, but this is it is like, I think it's an acrylic yarn. It's 100% polyester, but it's very, very fluffy, fuzzy. It is perfect for stuffed animals. They recommend it for use on 9mm needles, and I used it on 7 because you are supposed to go down a couple needle sizes when you knit plushies so that the stuffing doesn't like break through. And the cool thing about this yarn is that this entire puppy is knit up in garter stitch, which you would never be able to tell. And I think that's just so cool that it's like, it's such an easy knit for what it looks like in the end, right? It looks like all this effort would have had to go into it. And then like you knit the nose separately and you knit the bandana. So I had some like drops air in my stash that I used for the eyes and the nose. And then I had some hip wool left over in this cute little like forget-me-not blue type colorway that I used for the bandana. And I actually used up all the yarn that I had in my stash. I had a very, very small amount and I used it up for this little bandana. So that always feels really good to get rid of those like scrappy amounts of yarn. And yeah, I love him. I think he is just so adorable. I had a bit of a rough time sewing all the parts together. I'm just not someone that enjoys seaming, and stuffies usually have quite a bit of seaming that goes into them. So that was, I think, the biggest challenge in this project for me. Was just like, I had all the pieces and they were all there, and then I was like, all right, now I have to actually get it together and seam. So I just put on like some knitting podcasts, and I was just trying to like distract myself and seam everything up, and finally we got there. And I'm so proud, honestly, of what this looks like. I think he looks very cute, very realistic, lots of floopy little parts for her to grab onto when she starts wanting to grab things. So I can't wait for her to meet her little buddy. I'm just gonna keep him over here. He doesn't go in the basket. He just he can chill. I don't know if you can see him, but yeah, he's over there. That is Harry the puppy, and I am so pleased with how he turned out. The next thing that I knit is actually quite large. So I told you I wanted to knit these 3 things and have them ready for when she gets here. And this is her receiving blanket. This is the mini Augustins number 5, which is an extremely intricate lace knit circle blanket that is knit from the center out. So this entire thing, like, I think the center out portion of the blanket took about the same amount of time as like the border of the blanket, which is insane because the way you do it is you knit from the center out, and then you have all these live stitches, right? Like, I think there's like close to 300 or something live stitches on your needles, and then you cast on stitches and knit, like, I don't want to give too much away because it's a paid pattern, but you knit the border back and forth and like incorporate stitches along the way. So it's a very, very clever blanket design. And I actually brought this as a work in progress along. We had a baby moon in the south of Portugal towards the end of May. No, it was early May actually. It was like May 10th through the 17th. We had our baby moon in the south of Portugal. And I brought this along as my knitting project. So I was almost done with the circle part of the blanket when I brought it along. And then we had to take a train down from Lisbon to the south of Portugal. And that was like a 4-hour train ride. And I still did not finish the border on that train ride. And I knit at the beach quite a bit, just because it was kind of cool. It was easy. Like the blanket is kind of lightweight because it's lace. So it was an easy beach knitting project. Obviously, I washed it very, very well when we got home, because it was just everywhere. It was like through the airports and the trains and the beach and everything. But yeah, I finally got the border knit, and I am just so happy with how this turned out. I just think it is absolutely beautiful and so delicate and so dainty. And I don't think I'll knit another baby blanket for her, because this is I think I've had my fill with this. But as for the practical details, it is knit in Drops Merino Extra Fine in the colorway Taupe, I want to say. I think it's colorway 15. It's just like a very grayish brown kind of color, and I wanted it to be just a little bit more neutral, but I also didn't want it to be like a very light color, in case she has a blowout on it, which very well might happen. But yeah, it is a super wash yarn, so it's easy to just I think you put it in the wash at 40 degrees, but then you have to dry it flat, at least according to the instructions on the yarn label. So it is easy to chuck in the wash, which is nice. But then you also have to dry it flat, and it's quite big. So that'll take a bit. But yeah, I absolutely love this. I just think, hopefully, if I take good care of it and, maintain it, wash it, whatever, whenever it needs, I really hope it can be one of those heirloom pieces. Like maybe she'll want this as a blanket for her own kid later in life. And that's kind of like, obviously, right, the big reason why I am knitting for baby is because I really do want to dress her in the stuff that I make. I don't want it to be precious. I want it to be used. I want her to play in it. Which is not like she's gonna be playing much at 3 months, but I want her to actually wear them, not just for photos, but wear them, and live in them. And she has other clothes too, not just knits, but I want the knits to be kind of part of her wardrobe, not these special things that's oh no, we have to put it on for a picture and then get it right off because it can't get dirty. But I also want to take good enough care of them that hopefully I can preserve them, and one day when she has her own kids, she can pass them down. And I don't know, I just think that would be so rewarding, having kind of learned this craft from scratch, from YouTube, basically. I'm self-taught, and then to be able to pass all these things down to grandkids one day, that feels so cool. So yeah, hopefully this is one of those things. And this is the Mini Augustins number 5. And I do have some leftover Drops Extra Fine Merino. So I will be using that for, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe some hats or a balaclava or something like that. I know a lot of podcasters have said you can never have too many hats or bonnets or just things to keep their little heads warm. So I think that's what a lot of my scrappy yarn will be going for. Okay, my next project that I want to show you is actually her little coming home outfit. I've showed you guys this on my podcast before, but this is the lace dress body by Knitting for Olive. And this is the first thing I cast on when I knew that I was having a little girl, because I just really wanted to make something lacy and frilly and feminine. I was I mean, I would have been happy either way, right, with a lovely, healthy baby. But I was kind of rooting for a girl. I don't know if you can say that, but I was just so happy. And so I wanted to knit something that was like, this is my little girl. So this is the lace dress body, and I have knit this in Drops Flora in the shade green. It's yarn that I had in my stash. I had 2 skeins of it. I bought it during a Drops sale back in 2020, I want to say 2023? No, 2022. I bought it all the way back in 2022. I was going to make myself a pair of socks. And then I realized it just wasn't a good sock yarn, so I had it sitting in my stash, waiting for something to come along. And then I learned that I was having a little girl, and I wanted to make this pattern, and I just thought, I mean, how like forest fairy princess does this look in this color with this little lace skirt? And oh, it's just, there's a little onesie under it. You knit like the onesie portion over here, and then there's a skirt, like a lace skirt overlay that goes over it, and then everything gets joined together, and then you knit the body up, and there's like a little button closure at the back and buttons along the bottom for an easy diaper change. So I am so pleased with this, and this is obviously, like, I do have a backup because someone pointed out, like, this looks a little bit big for a newborn. The smallest size they had was the 3-month size, and I knit that one. So I was just kind of thinking, I was like, okay, it's going to be one of my first times dressing her. I don't know if I want to put her into something that's too tight, so maybe I'll just bring this along, and I will, you know, if it's too loose, it's fine. She can still be in it. But we will also bring something else along in case it is way too loose, and then she has like a little Pooh Bear store-bought outfit as well, just in case. So yeah, this is the hopefully her coming home outfit. And you know what, if it's too big for her, then she can still kind of wear it and chill, and then she can also wear it when she's a bit bigger, so that just means she'll get more wear out of it, and that honestly seems like the opposite of a problem to me. So yeah, I'm just so excited to see her. All of these things are just making me so excited to see her in these clothes. Just, I don't know, it'll feel so surreal, honestly, I think. And then the kind of companion piece that I made is this little lace hat. It's the same lace pattern as the lace dress body. I just had some leftover yarn from the lace dress body, so I figured I would make a little lace hat. And this is in the, like, it isn't, I don't know if they have a preemie size, but it's not that one, it's the next size up, like the size newborn, basically. So it is, I mean, the only part of this pattern, as I mentioned in my podcast, that really gave me trouble were these ear flaps, because you knit back and forth to make them, and then you just knit the lace motif, basically, and you knit these little I-cords at the bottom that will tie around her little head. So I think, yeah, this is the front, so it has a little more space for her head, and then the back goes down a little bit more. But yeah, I just think this and this together is the cutest little outfit. Oh, and I'm so excited to bring her home in this outfit. And it's honestly, it's not that long now, is it? Like, in about a week and a half, like, she won't even be premature. She'll be like a regular, like a full baby. So like, it could happen anytime. It could happen then, which is kind of nuts to think about. But yeah. Okay. I also knit her a pair of Olive's ribbed leggings. So this is actually inspired by Inga of Knitting Traditions, because she has just had a little girl. And she was telling me that ribbed pants are super useful because they can use them when they are, when they're still a little bit too big. And then when they grow, the pants have so much stretch that you can still wear them. So they're so useful for a long period of time, essentially. And that motivated me to get the pattern for the Knitting for Olive ribbed leggings. And I knit these in, it's Knitting for Olive cotton merino, which is a blend of 70% cotton and 30% merino wool. And it's in the colorway soft blue. So I've been putting this together as like a little outfit with Carl's cardigan, even though the size here is 6 to 9 months and that cardigan is size 3 to 6 months. So like ideally, I think these fit a lot better. I guess I could go with the cardigan because she could wear these when she's still a bit too small. But she can also wear them when she's wearing the Melange sweater baby. So they could both be little outfits with her little ribbed pants. So I actually thought when I was knitting these that the hardest part would be this, like the huge section here where you knit, like, this is a lot of ribbing and you knit it in the round for a long time. I think it was like 14 centimeters or something. But actually the part for me that was like the most tedious were the legs, which is very strange because that's not what I expected. It was just, I guess it's because I was using, like when I knit things like baby sleeves or baby pant legs, I use the 2 circulars method instead of magic loop. And then when I was knitting this, I was using a 40 centimeter circular needle. So that probably is why that went a lot faster and felt a lot nicer to knit. And then when I got down to the legs, I was like finagling with the different cords, and it just got a little, it got a little tedious towards that point. But I think this is really cute. And I've just folded up the legs because I don't know. I can't imagine. I guess she'll need them to be a bit longer, but I folded them up for now. And we can always fix that. And I don't know. These are so cute. They're not as soft as the other knits, and I think that is because of the cotton. The Knitting for Olive cotton merino is not as soft as their pure merino. But I just bought like a mix of these different skeins of cotton merino and pure merino, and I just like this color a lot for little pants. So that's what I decided to knit them in. They will be a little bit more breathable though. They are not super wash, so they will have to be hand washed basically every time I want to wash them, which is a bit tedious, I guess. And there's like a little I-cord drawstring in the pants. So very cute, very functional. And then hopefully I can put that like maybe with some knit sweaters or like over her onesies or something like that, and she can use them quite a bit is the plan. Okay. I've also made her Alma's ruffle suit from Petite Knit. I had some leftover Hobby Friends Extra Fine Merino in the shade 02, which is like, I think they're off-white, from when I designed the Tinseltown sweater for them. And this is a superwash yarn, so I figured it was a good option to knit her something. And I just really liked the ruffle suit from Petite Knit. So like it sounds, or the Almas ruffle suit, sorry. And then, yeah, like it's like what it sounds like. It's just like a standard onesie, and then you knit this little ruffle on afterwards. I knit the 3 to 6 month size, but it does kind of look a little, no, I knit the 6 to 9 month size, but it looks a bit smaller, which is why I called it the 3 to 6 month size. I did meet gauge, And it is super stretchy. Like I don't know if you can, like, it is really stretchy. So maybe it will fit her for that size as well. And I also, I sewed down the ruffle in the front because I figured by the time she's 6 to 9 months, she's probably grabbing things, trying to put them in her mouth. I didn't want her putting the ruffle in her mouth, so I did sew it down. And like I was saying, I am starting like my journey of embroidery on knitwear. This is all freehand embroidery, but I just thought that it would be really cute to have this this white onesie and have some little embroidered flowers on it. But yeah, this is kind of like, I just really got into the woven wheel, which is this kind of embroidery over here. I thought that was adorable. So I will definitely be doing more like woven wheel stitching on my, because they look like little roses. And it's just so cute. I mean, it's like for the amount of effort that you put in, like they're so easy to do and they look so nice at the end. So yeah, this is kind of, I think I started shifting into making her more little dainty knits, like very traditionally girly things around this point. But yeah, this is the Alma's ruffle suit, and it's so soft. This is, I keep forgetting if I've mentioned this, it's a superwash yarn. And I think that's maybe why it's so soft. And it also like seems very practical because it has these little snap, I don't know if I can just unsnap one. It has these snap buttons at the bottom. Instead of like the buttons you kind of have to fiddle with more, they just kind of snap on and off. So from what I've heard at least, that's a lot more practical than having a lot of buttons in there. They are harder to sew in, but they're easier to do up, right? So like this. And she'd be into it because the snap buttons are done. So yeah, I'm excited to put her in this. A lot of these clothes she won't actually be wearing until my husband is on his paternity leave. So I don't know, I guess we just hope that he puts her in them, or I put her in them when I come home from work or on the weekends or whatever. But either way, she'll be wearing that, and I hope she'll be wearing it a lot because it does kind of feel like she'd be able to fit into it at a wide range of sizes because it is so stretchy and nice. And then along the same lines, kind of with the same yarn, because I had a lot left over, I made these socks for Mary Jane's by Very Pink Knits, because I kind of saw this as an outfit, right? Like her little ruffle, or Alma's ruffle suit, and then these little socks, and maybe some like really cute, like we bought her a pair of these like gold sparkly shoes in the States that are like, they're kind of Mary Jane like for the same age range. So I made these in the size 3, which I looked up a little shoe sizing chart, and they were like, yeah, kids that are 6 months old typically are a size 3, which isn't to say that she will be, but like, I also don't know what she will be. So yeah, these were actually my first pair of socks that I've ever knit. I have never knit socks before until this. So yeah, they just have this super easy lace pattern at the top. You knit them from the top down, and then they have like a little bit of a reinforced, what do you call this? Like, is this the gusset? I don't know. They have that back here, and then a little heel with short rows, a little sock. So she has socks to go with her Alma's ruffle suit. And she also has the Rigmor's bonnet from Petite Knit. How is this worn? This is like this. Yeah, this is in the size, gosh, sorry. This is in the size 0 to 3 months. So I realized that it's not ideal. Like it's not the same size range, but I have a very tiny head, like off the charts tiny. Like when I was a little kid, the doctors were kind of like like they thought that something was wrong with me because I was walking funny, but like actually it was just because I had such a tiny head, like my center of balance was a bit off. And so I had a hunch that she would have the same thing, that she would also have a tiny head. Turns out she does have a tiny head. So I was like, maybe I should make a smaller size, and it'll fit her. And so I did. And mom's intuition, I guess. I was right. So this is the Rigmor's bonnet. It just has this very, very cute little lace pattern on it. And it's knit the same way as most other bonnets, with a little I-cord strap, with the same yarn that I used for both the onesie and the socks. So it's a whole set. And yeah, I'm so excited to see her in the set. I just think it'll be so cute and so precious and just like, oh, my perfect little girl. Okay, so I've also knit her, speaking of bonnets, the Baby Bear bonnet by Knitting for Olive in some leftover drop sky that I had in my stash in the color Hazelnut, which I just thought was the cutest little color for a baby bear bonnet because, I mean, this little brown bear. So I just love the construction on this. It is a bit complicated when you're starting out. Like, I thought this was going to be knit in the round. It was not. It was basically just knit flat the whole time. I don't think I ever joined this in the round. And then there's like ribbing that you pick up and knit. You knit an I-cord, and you have some like very clever increases on the back. And it just looks so cute. And so I think, I mean, I forget what size, I knit this in the size 6 months actually, because it is like a wool alpaca yarn. And so she should be able to wear it when it's like spring here, which is still very, very cold up in Tromsø. But if she has a tiny head and she can wear this for longer, then that means she can also wear it in the summer, because some summer days are still very cold up here. So yeah, she will be wearing the baby bear bonnet. Yeah, little ears. I think anything with ears is just the cutest for babies. So I might make her another one. I saw that a lot of people made the baby bear bonnet in Drops extra fine merino, which I do still have left over from the blanket that I made. So I might make her another one. Who knows? Okay. I think that's it actually for finished objects. So that's everything that I have knit for her so far, and now I just want to show you some of the things that I am currently knitting for her. This is the Ruffle Dress by Knitting for Olive, and I'm knitting this for her in in Knitting for Olive merino, in the colorway Unicorn Purple, and this is going to be size 12 to 18 months. So it'll fit her around, yeah, when she's a year old, hopefully. I think that would be super duper cute if this could be like her 1 year dress. And it is going to take a while because it requires 4 skeins of Knitting for Olive merino, which is a fingering weight yarn. So I can definitely see that taking a while. And I'm just kind of knitting on this on and off whenever I need something that's a little bit of a mindless stockinette project. It's just a lot of fun. It's this little dress that you knit from the top down. It's got a little opening in the back for a button. And now I'm currently knitting the skirt, which is why it's just so much stockinette knitting, basically. And there's a lot of increases that are going on over here, so that's why I have so many stitch markers. But yeah, I should definitely be able to have this done by the time she is a year old. I'm actually thinking because, because it is such an easy mindless knit, I might just put it in my hospital bag, bring it along with me, which is, yeah, I guess there's like, I could potentially do that, right? Who knows how long labor will take. So yeah, maybe that'll be my project that I knit when she's on her way. the next thing that I have been working on for her is my first baby knit design, actually. Well, if I can fish the yarn out over here. So this doesn't look like much right now, but I'm calling this the Clara Onesie. That is not her name. I just like the name Clara. So this is a onesie, or I guess a body, or whatever you want to call it, that is knit with double moss stitch on the back and the little cable motif on the front. It's going to have long sleeves with cables on them. It's going to be, there's going to be buttons. I've already made buttonholes on the front. So there's going to be buttons over here. There's going to be ribbing along the sides, like this. Yeah, and then just like a little slit in the back for buttons. I am knitting up what I have graded to be the 9-month size, because I think that this is a nice little spring knit for her, where it's still kind of cold, but you know, it is a spring color, so I think it'll be nice for spring up in Tromsø. I'm knitting this in Quince & Co. I want to say it's Chickadee, which is 100% American wool. It's an extremely soft yarn and not very fuzzy at all, so that's very nice. But it is not super wash. I do have to hand wash this, but I don't mind. But yeah, I don't know, I really wanted to make these like dainty, timeless baby knitwear designs, and I figured this was a good one to start out with because I have knit a couple bodysuits now, so I kind of have an idea of how to knit them and grade them. So yeah, this is, I think I've only knit on this for 2 days, and it's gotten pretty far. So yeah, I definitely can see this growing quite a bit. I added in a little bit of room for her diaper as well in the back, so I'm definitely going to incorporate that into the pattern so that there's extra room in the back. And from what I've heard as well, these kind of textures are better for absorbing in case they get wet, the diaper leaks, whatever. Which I wasn't thinking about when I designed it. I just thought that the texture looked really nice, but that's an added bonus as well. Oh, and the shade of this is Dogwood, which is extra special because the dogwood is the state tree of Virginia, which is the state that I am from originally. Okay, last project that I have on my needles is the baby bear sweater, which is a test knit that I'm currently doing for Ann-Kathrin on Instagram. And the yarn was gifted very kindly by Gepard Garn. This is Gepard, I want to say Cotton Merino 3, which is a blend of cotton and merino wool. So it has this little baby bear face on it, which I haven't embroidered the eyes or anything yet, and it's going to have little ears along the slopes, and then it's going to have buttons on top like this, and sleeves. So it's still very much in progress, but I am making the 9-month size as well for this, just because I thought it would be, I don't have that many clothes for when she's that old, and I don't know how much knitting I'll be able to get done when she's actually here. So I figured I would try to make clothes for at least the first year of her life, and then at least I have some, in case I'm not able to knit at all when she gets here. So this is actually very fun. This is my first time doing intarsia, and I think you can tell, but I don't think she'll mind, hopefully. But yeah, I really like this combination of, it feels like Neapolitan ice cream, but without the vanilla. It just feels very this looks exactly like chocolate and strawberry, is what I think every time I look at this, which isn't bad. And I think what I'm gonna do with the ears, because she has you make the ears in the same color as the bear, but I think what I am gonna do is I am going to to maybe put a little bit of pink on the ears as well, like on the inside, because I think that would just be so cute. So yeah, that is my last work in progress. And as I mentioned before, as for what I want to make more of, sorry, my back kind of hurts, so I'm like fiddling around a bit. What I want to make more of for baby are mostly hats, I think. Like, I would love to make her more hats, more bonnets. I haven't made her a balaclava yet, and I think she will need something like that, especially for the winter. I don't think a bonnet will be enough because I want her neck to be covered as well. We do have like an outdoor suit that covers her neck. We will have sweaters that hopefully do that as well. But obviously, like, I want to use some very soft, kind of warm yarn and make something that would cover her little neck so that she can be nice and warm. And then I also want to make more socks. I just thought that it was so enjoyable to make those little socks for Mary Jane's. I mean, they used so little yarn and they just worked up so fast, and I think it would be so fun for her to have all these pairs of little socks, little booties, just things that she can wear on her feet, because she'll definitely need those. I don't want to buy her too many pairs of shoes before she can walk, but I think it would be really nice to like have some booties and socks and things for when we go out. Because I do want to take her out when I'm on maternity leave. It is 6 long months that I do not want to spend just cooped up in the house. So I want to be able to take her out, get like a coffee and maybe meet up with some friends or whatever it is. And I think at that point she might need layers, especially as it starts getting colder in terms of. So those are my two big things, are like, she needs more socks, she needs more hats. And I think that would be the easiest to knit, honestly, because I want her to have the softest of the materials for that, and I want her to have wool and other natural fibers that instead of acrylics. Not like there's anything wrong, it's just, I don't know, I personally prefer that she has wool, especially merino. I think that's just, it's the most baby friendly, it's comfortable. Kevin does not like wool directly on his skin. He's not like me. I don't mind it at all. But he's very sensitive to everything that isn't merino wool. And so I think it's like, okay, maybe we just err on the side of caution and do merino wool for her as well. And maybe mixed with some silk here and there. We'll see. So yeah, that is the plan for knitting for baby in the future. And obviously I want to keep designing baby knits. I have ideas in my head already about baby versions of my existing patterns. I've swatched up for a baby Kamari sweater, and I've actually already like written and graded a whole, like the whole body for the 9-month size, which is what I want to make for her, with little buttons as well. Because I think that's a very good feature, especially because I want to grade that pattern down to 3 months, and at that point you really do need buttons. You can't just fling it over their heads. So yeah, that is all on the table. And like, how cute would a baby air sweater be? I think that would fit perfectly with my idea of like timeless knits for babies, and maybe even like a little air dress for her. Oh, that would be so cute. So I have all these ideas for things I want to design and make for her, and yeah, so all of that will hopefully, I mean, I know that I'm not going to be as productive when she's here, and that makes perfect sense, and I don't expect to be, but this is all just on my like to knit wish list, and we'll see what I can get done, and what I can't, and that's okay. I'm not really putting any pressure on myself. Knitting is fun. It is something that I do because I love doing it. So I don't know. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on myself that like I have to get these things done. But like in an ideal world where I could knit whatever I wanted, and yeah, that's what I would knit for her. And I've been having so much fun knitting for her. I haven't knit so much for myself recently. But I've been doing a lot of baby knitting, just because it's so instant gratification. Even though you knit on such tiny needles, they're such tiny projects that they finish so quickly. And then I just imagine her wearing them, and I think it's that feeling that kind of is like, oh my gosh, yes, this makes me feel good. Like imagining my little baby wearing the clothes that I have made for her. So there will definitely be more of that when she's actually here, and I can be like, oh, you're gonna wear this, and like little try-ons as we go, and oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be an adventure, and I'm happy with how much I have already made for her. So that has been almost an hour of me talking to you about baby knitting. So I think we will leave it at that. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Let me know what your favorite baby knit is, if you have knit for your own baby or a baby in your life that you love. And as always, if you want to come over and say hi, I am over on Instagram and Ravelry as the Strikkechick, and you can also find me on my own website, thestrikkechick.com. Until next time, you guys, happy knitting! Bye!